This is Twit.
This is our predictions results show where we look back at our predictions from the 2013 predictions show. Well, it was in 2012, but we were making our predictions for 2013. We look back on 2013 and check in how we did. You know, I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, when we started doing this kind of show at Buzz Out Loud years ago, it was because nobody ever checked in on their predictions. Everybody would make wild predictions, and then nobody would ever look back to see how well they did. And so we're like, well, we'll do that. We'll look at put our feet to the fire. I've noticed a bunch more people starting to do this.
So they ripped you off.
Well, that's the thing about, I mean, you can make a wild prediction, right? You know, in the moment, you can say just about anything because at the beginning of any year, it's like, who knows what it's going to be like at the end of the year? 12 months in tech is a really long time. A lot of things change. But you should hold yourself to good predictions. You can say anything.
I'm looking at these predictions. It just makes me feel like, you know, like a high school kind of thing. It's like, oh, that was the haircut I went with. This is the thing I went. Oh,
that's the trend I was into.
I thought, I really thought, you know, overalls with one strap was a good idea, but no.
I think what I realized in looking back at these a year later, and this is the case year after year, is how stuck in a particular moment predictions are when you make them. You know, like it's obviously it's very hard to tell the future. So you're going to talk about what's kind of top of mind. But when you look back at it a year later, you're like, oh, that is the thing that we were all talking and thinking about a year ago. And then, you know, decided to make it this big year-long prediction thing when really it fizzled out in February and we haven't heard about it ever since.
Yeah, I know. It's funny how many things you see like that. Yeah. Well, let's dig right in. And we'll start with one that Sarah, myself, and I, as all three, had a prediction about. And that was Apple TV. Sarah, you said we will see the Apple TV.
The actual TV.
The actual television, like the Apple television. I agreed with Sarah saying that it would be a television and a set-top box, but it would be reworked and have a new interface and all that. And I said Time Warner will be involved in the launch. IS came the closest, though, saying Time Warner would partner with Apple, but you said it would be on set-top box integration.
That's what I was hoping for. I was wrong.
You got real close, though, because Time Warner's app just launched on Apple TV.
I mean, that's integration. That's a partnership. It's not necessarily what you thought it would be, but it's not a miss.
No, clearly, that's exactly what I was talking about, so I should get full points for that. And I was thinking, yeah, it's going to launch exactly when it did. No, I didn't see that coming. I'm really glad that... well, the thing is, with UI, Apple's got it down, and set-top boxes have been a mess. And we've seen, like, throughout the year where all these other companies have tried to go into the internet television space. We saw Intel trying to figure out OnCue, all this thing about UI, and who knows where that's going to end up, maybe Verizon. I thought Apple made the most sense for a company like Time Warner because Time Warner doesn't seem to care about UI. They just want to make sure you just pay them. And if I'm hoping this just continues in the future where more companies just bother to have apps for the Apple TV.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to sort of hang up my Apple TV hat. It's been my prediction for the last couple of years just because I've been wanting something so much.
No, come on. Stay on the horse. Stay on the horse.
I don't know, Tom. I mean, yes, I have predictions that are yet to come, so never say never. But in general, this was the year that I decided, you know, Apple has, they've got their product line. It became pretty clear what the next iPhone was going to be. We saw the next generation of iPads. The Apple TV, I no longer think is right around the corner. So yeah, it was a wishful thinking kind of prediction that I did this time last year.
I don't think we were all that far off at the time. I think Apple was probably pretty close to being able to do something like this, and I think they were going to do it with Time Warner, which is why we see a Time Warner app on Apple TV now. I just think that the negotiations for content proved to be more difficult than everyone expected, and that's what killed Intel's OnCue project as well. I mean, it's not dead yet, but they have essentially shelved it, and they're looking to sell it.